France and European allies are to withdraw troops from Mali. French President Emmanuel Macron announced the strategic move on Thursday after talks with European counterparts participating in the fight against terrorism. A working dinner had gathered Sahelian presidents and EU leaders to discuss the matter on Wednesday. They mentioned multiple obstructions by the transitional government of Mali. France and its partners involved in counter-terrorism missions, namely the states involved in the Takuba task force, have decided to withdraw their military presence in Mali. This withdrawal will result in the closure of the holdings in Gossi, Menaka and Gao. It will be carried out in an orderly fashion with the Malian armed forces and the UN mission in Mali. The news comes after a nearly decade-long fight against jihadist insurgents. AU chairperson President Macky Sall insisted on the necessity to rely on a joint African-European action to eliminate terrorism. We have agreed with Europe that the fight against terrorism in the Sahel region cannot be a matter for African countries alone. And on this, there is a consensus, and it is fortunate that a commitment has been renewed to remain in the region and to reorganize the mechanism. France initially sent troops against jihadists in Mali in 2013, but the insurgency was never fully quelled. Over the years, the military operations had grown in popular in Mali and in France. According to the French General Staff, around 2,500 to 3,000 French soldiers will remain in Sahel following their withdrawal from Mali that should take place within a 6-month period.
A sea of plastic that's being reused for good. In Kenya, this area of Nairobi is the scene of an open-air tip of plastic waste. Now a startup is giving a second life to 30 tons of it every month. 7 employees collect it from various dumps, sort it, and heat it using thermoregulated equipment through molds. They then take shape into poles, tiles, table beams and other pieces of outdoor furniture, a little help for the planet.
Our products are very great substitutes for wood. And wood, okay, just look at it this way. One wooden pole is one of our plastic poles. So the more we use the plastic poles, the more trees we have in our environment, and the more we can save our environment from deforestation.
Away from protecting the environment, Mugo says he began the venture to give plastic more utility.
The beauty of plastic is that it's malleable. We can make it into so many different forms. For example, we can make it into outdoor furniture, like the bench I'm seated on, the table that's in front of me that's in progress.
The company also makes poles for fences. They cost 900 Kenya shillings or $7.60 and are said to last much longer than their wooden counterparts.
Kitambo nilikuwa nanunua poles za miti na kuja na fence nazo.
Initially, I used to buy wooden poles and use them for fencing. But at night, people would steal them and use them for cooking as energy. Now I discovered these plastic ones. And they are not getting lost because no one can steal them, because it's waste anyway.
Ndio nikaona ni prefer hizi za plastic.
According to the UN Environment Program, 400 million tons of plastic waste is generated each year.
Normal plastic poles are giving young trees an opportunity to be able to grow because they are saving these trees from being cut down and used as poles. And as these trees grow, they sequester more carbon from the environment, and thus they are contributing much in the fight on climate change.
There's more plastic pollution in Kenya than normal plastic can recycle, but they are helping regardless.
Lewis Hamilton on Thursday said that Formula One should ignore old voices and reject racism as it focuses on becoming more inclusive. Hamilton, the 7-time Formula One champion, was reacting to comments made last year by Nelson Piquet, referring to Hamilton by a racial term.
I mean, I've been on the receiving end of racism and criticism and, you know, that negativity and archaic narratives for a long, long time, you know, and undertones of discrimination. So there's nothing really particularly new for me. I think it's more about the bigger picture. I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't know why we are continuing to give these older voices a platform, because they are, they're speaking upon our sport, and we're looking to go somewhere completely different, and it's not representative, I think, of who we are as a sport now and where we're planning to go.
The word in question was brought to attention this week. Hamilton said he wanted Formula One to do more to widen the diversity and inclusivity of the sport.
If we're looking to grow in the US and other countries, South Africa, and grow our audience, we need to be looking to the future and giving the younger people a platform that are more representative of today's time and to who we are trying to be.
Piquet was suspended Thursday from his honorary membership of the British Racing Drivers Club, which owns and runs the Silverstone track used for this week's Grand Prix. Nigeria has signed a deportation agreement with the United Kingdom, which will see the deportation of illegal Nigerian immigrants and criminals. Most of the deportees were originally from Nigeria, but it was unclear if all those expected to be deported into the country from the UK had Nigerian roots. On Thursday, UK's Home Secretary Priti Patel described the Memorandum of Understanding as a landmark agreement. The first batch of deportees had left the UK for Nigeria and Ghana, according to Forbes. Talks of deportation and migration from the UK have been frequent after the Home Office announced plans to send asylum seekers to Rwanda in April. The Rwandan plan would have seen asylum seekers who crossed the Channel to the UK on a flight to Rwanda to claim asylum there instead. The plans have been stalled by the European Court of Human Rights Intervention.
Libyan officials from the country's rival camp failed to reach an agreement on the constitutional framework for national elections in the latest UN-led efforts to bridge the gaps between the factions. After 2 days of UN-mediated talks in Geneva, disagreement persists among the two senior Libyan officials from the country's rival camps on the eligibility requirement for the candidates in the first presidential elections. Despite failing to agree on framework for elections, the two Libyan leaders reached unprecedented consensus on issues such as headquarters and distribution of seats for the two legislative chambers and other matters.